Hi everyone, so I'm here in my kitchen. It's a Friday afternoon. I'm going to start doing some food prep, so I thought I'd invite you along to see what I'm doing. So I've got some girlfriends coming around tomorrow. We do regularly get together. Quite often we go to a pub for lunch after we go to the gym. But I've invited the girls around here and I want the opportunity to enjoy their company as well. So I'm going to prepare most of the food in advance, and I'm not going to stress too much. They're quite simple recipes, but something that we can all enjoy on the day. So it is autumn winter time here, so I'm going to be preparing a soup. You'll see from my channel that's one of my favourites. I haven't decided exactly. I'm thinking along the lines of a green soup, something like leek and potato with broccoli. And then for the main, I'm going to make some homemade sausage rolls, vegetarian ones. I'm going to make some pastryless quiche, essentially egg muffins. I was thinking mushroom flavour. And then some salad, some homemade coleslaw, some quinoa, tabbouleh, and Greek salad, possibly a hummus as well. And so there's something for everybody there. It is vegetarian, but I don't think the non-vegetarians will notice particularly. So there's healthy options and there's a bit of a treat there with the sausage rolls. And then I'm not doing a formal pudding as such. Last time I hosted, I did an Eton mess, which is really easy to do, but this time I'm just going to make a rocky road so we can all have a little square of a bit of a treat with tea and coffee afterwards. So there's not a huge amount of work and cooking involved. You'll see a lot of it is simply construction, but I will take you along. You'll see how easy the recipes are, and maybe it'll give you some ideas of hosting without going to too much hassle or stress. So see you in a moment. So these are the ingredients for Rocky Road. In addition to the biscuits, it's got some butter in there, and the dark chocolate. There's also some glacé cherries. They're an option, but when you cut through the squares, it's nice to have that sort of red colour. And then there's some sultanas. You could swap in dates or apricots or miss out the fruit entirely if you preferred. I've also got some puffed millet. I happen to have that in to make my own kind of granola topping. It's not got a great amount of flavour, but it gives a nice crunch in with the chocolate. You could swap in Rice Krispies or cornflakes, and then the marshmallows there that'll mix in and give it a beautiful colour as well when you cut through, and the chewy texture. So I'll show you how easy it is to construct. So I've got about 100 grams of butter there with 300 grams of dark chocolate, and I'm going to melt that over a bain-marie, some hot water. You could do that in a microwave, but I've had some disasters where I've overheated the chocolate and it's been ruined. So I'm going to take my time here and just allow it to melt slowly over the warmth of the hot water. I've got around 300 grams of mixed biscuits there, and I'm just going to break them up with a rolling pin, and I'm aiming for some quite large chunks as well as crumbs, so there's a good variety of textures. So those are the biscuits all crushed up, so you can see it's very different to a cheesecake. There's a mixture of crumbs and chunks there. So the chocolate and butter is melted together. It's simply a case of construction now. So I'm going to start by adding in the biscuits. I'm going to give those a good mix around, and then I'm simply going to add in the puffed millet, the cherries, sultanas, and the marshmallows. So those are the ingredients all ready to be combined. Now that everything's perfectly coated in chocolate, I'm simply going to put it on a baking tray with some greaseproof paper and smooth it into a nice sort of thin layer and allow it to set in the fridge. treat for later. I don't know if you can see, there's a little face down here having a little peek. But doggies can't eat chocolate, can they? So here are my ingredients to make homemade coleslaw. I've got white cabbage, carrot, an onion. In this case it's a pink onion. I think it's a little bit milder than both. It's probably in between a white and a red onion. And I've got some mayonnaise. So I'm going to peel the carrots and then I'm going to grate them and I'm going to shred up the cabbage quite fine and cut the onions into slices. I'll show you when those are all done. I'm simply going to cut this. I've got a sharp knife. I'm going to be cutting it in half, just so it's easier to handle, and then simply slicing shredding there. I'm going to go across again. So you see you get quite a fine shred. I want to see how I go with just half a cabbage first and then see if I need to up the quantities. I've avoided the very end part because it's just tougher and not so attractive looking. So I'm definitely thinking just half a cabbage is enough once I've combined it with the carrots and the onions. I've got 3 large carrots. I'm going to grate these and again just assess if that's the right quantity. I'm coming to the end now and I have to admit my arms are aching a little bit, but here we are on the finishing stretch. Now it's a case of chopping up the onion quite finely and combining that with the carrot and the cabbage. I'm trying to get quite thin slices here because you don't want the onion flavour to be too overbearing. So I did just stick with half an onion then, and I'm simply going to add some mayonnaise. I'm not sure exact quantities. I'm going to add a good few tablespoons, stir it in, and then see if I need to add any more. Next, I'm going to make the vegetarian sausage rolls. So I've got a vegetarian sausage mix here, which I got from my local Whole Food shop, and a packet of ready-made puff pastry. It's already rolled out. So I'm going to just make this up according to the instructions. I'm probably just going to use half of the packet, add the correct quantity of water, and let that rehydrate into sausage meat. So it's 300 mils of water for half the packet. Okay, so this pastry is obviously so easy to use because it comes ready rolled out. Can you see that properly? Maybe if I move it over there. Okay, so let me put it that way around. I'm planning on doing 2 rows of sausage meats, fold them over. I'm aiming to make 6 big chunky sausage rolls in total. So I'm laying out the sausage meat, as you can see. If it was a festive occasion, this sausage meat, I'm sure, is really versatile to add other ingredients in. I'd be tempted to add in some cranberries or apricot pieces, or even, I've done this with another sausage mix, adding in stuffing, sage and onion stuffing to give it a herb flavour. So just let me get a sharp knife. So I'm going to cut the pastry in half, and each half I'm simply going to roll over like that. Those rolled up, and I simply want to cut them into 3 pieces. Actually, let me score them first, so when they cook they look quite pretty. I'll score them and actually give them an egg wash beforehand. So the milk helps to make it a bit more golden and has a nice sheen when it comes out of the oven. Here are my ingredients for some simple hummus. I've obviously got chickpeas, some tahini, lemon juice, a touch of garlic, olive oil. I'm going to add in some cumin flavouring, and I'm also going to add half of a cooked beetroot that I already have, but it will turn the hummus a lovely bright pink colour. Okay, to make the hummus, I've got a tin chickpeas, juice of a lemon, 2 small cloves of garlic, 2 cloves of garlic. I'm going to add about a teaspoon, half a teaspoon I suppose, of cumin, not too overpowering. A really good guzzle, about a tablespoon I suppose of olive oil. Half of a cooked beetroot, and then I'm going to add in the tahini. Give it a stir, it separates out quite a lot in the jar. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so a good spoonful of tahini. So these are the ingredients for the quinoa tabbouleh. This is the quinoa I cooked yesterday and it's been in the fridge overnight. I'm going to finely chop up some tomato, cucumber, onion and add some herbs, parsley and mint in this case, so I'll show you in a moment when it's all ready. So that's everything finely chopped. 2 packs of parsley. I've ripped a small amount of mint leaves there to add. I've got half a cucumber, half a punnet of tomatoes and half a red onion. I'm now going to mix it into the quinoa. These are my ingredients for a Greek salad. I've got a Greek style cheese, it's like a budget feta. It's got a little bit less flavour, but once the dressing's on you won't notice. Tomatoes, a pink onion, cucumber, olives there. I'd have preferred black, but I've only got green, and then I'm going to add some mint. So those are all the ingredients prepared. I'm simply going to mix them together in a bowl and add some French dressing. Okay, for the dressing for the tabbouleh and the Greek salad, I'm going to mix lemon juice with olive oil, a bit of Dijon mustard and some seasoning, and that's as simple as it is. So I'll take you on a tour of the kitchen so you can see the finished spread. So for drinks, got an option of cranberry juice, elderflower, fresh orange juice, and then if anybody wants to make Hugo's or Aperol Spritz, we can do that quite easily with those ingredients. So everybody's got a nice cocktail style glass regardless of whether they're having alcohol or soft drinks. Okay, so I'm all set up here ready for everybody to have the soup as a starter. I've got napkins, spoons, knives and forks, plates for main course. There's my soup ready to heat up. Everybody can have that with some baguette. Then onto the mains. I'm going to warm up the sausage rolls and these quiches in the air fryer just for 10 minutes whilst we're having the soup, but I think when everyone arrives we'll have a good 20 minutes before we even have the soup. And then I've got the finished tabbouleh, Greek salad, I've got hummus with some pita bread, but we've also got the baguette to have that with, coleslaw, and then our sneaky treat for after. So let me zoom out. So we're all set for a lovely lunchtime.